Have you ever felt like you're living in a noisy world where everyone's rushing to speak, think, and act, but few truly listen or move with purpose? Have you noticed that despite talking endlessly, thinking constantly, and working tirelessly, when night falls, you're left feeling empty, confused, and unsure of where you're headed? In a society that equates speed with success, where people strive to define themselves through words, social media, and relentless updates, we're losing something vital: stillness. Not mere silence, but a profound quiet born of depth, inner strength, and intense focus. That's where true power takes root. Stoic philosophy, an ancient school seemingly distant from modern life, is a potent remedy for those lost in this distracted world. Through the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, Stoics shun the clamor. They don't need to perform or prove themselves. They quietly forge their character like true warriors, with silence, discipline, and unwavering focus. This video is a journey back to the core of personal strength, a place where you don't need to speak too much, think excessively, or prove anything to the world. You just need to focus. And when you do, you'll discover that real power begins within, and its silence is awe-inspiringly formidable. Lesson 1: thinking less doesn't mean stopping thinking. Thinking is one of humanity's greatest gifts. It's how we've built societies, created art, science, philosophy, and shaped our individual identities. But have you ever paused to ask, are all the thoughts swirling in your mind actually helping you? Or are they quietly eroding your peace and energy every day? A profound Stoic lesson is recognizing what to control and what to release. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, limited to what is yours." What does this mean? You can think, but don't dwell on what you can't change. You can analyze, but don't conjure worst-case scenarios that haven't happened. You can worry, but only about what's worth worrying over, and, crucially, act to address it rather than drown in it. Today, many equate overthinking with being smart, deep, or introspective. Yet overthinking is a leading cause of anxiety, depression, and mental paralysis. We ruminate on unchangeable pasts, unarrived futures, others' words, glances, praise, or criticism. While we're busy thinking, real life, the present, slips through our fingers like water. Epictetus taught his students, you can't control external events, but you can always control your attitude and response. This starts with mastering your thoughts. You can't stop your brain from thinking, but you can choose what's worth thinking about and dismiss what's not the moment it arises. Thinking less isn't about shutting off thought. It's about making thinking purposeful, clear, and in service of real life, not a self-destructive inner maze. Consider this. After a meeting, you sense a colleague's displeasure. Instantly, your mind spirals. What are they thinking of me? Did I mess up? Will they complain to the boss? Will this ruin my future? That afternoon, you lose focus, fixated on a glance, a gesture, or a subjective feeling that may not even be true. For Stoics, this is a test. Can you acknowledge your emotion, accept the uncertainty, and refocus on what you control: your work, professionalism, self-improvement? Or will you drift in endless rumination? Mastering thought is an art. It's not about forcing yourself to think nothing. That's impossible and undesirable. It's about observing your thoughts like an outsider. When a negative thought emerges, instead of diving in, pause and ask, is this thought useful? Can I control what's worrying me? Is there a concrete action I can take now to improve this? If yes, act. If no, let it go. Stoics see the mind as a room. If you let anyone enter, say anything, and do whatever they want, chaos ensues. But by guarding the door, choosing what enters, you create a calm, clear, and strong inner space. Thinking less is about crafting a mind you want to live in, not one you flee from. A simple yet powerful Stoic practice is evening journaling. Before bed, write what you did, what worried you, where you responded well, and what you could do differently. This closes the day with clarity, preventing tangled thoughts from invading sleep. Marcus Aurelius did this daily, and his reflections still inspire millions. Another technique is setting a thinking time limit for a problem. Allow yourself 15 minutes to worry, then stop. Either write a specific solution or release it. This breaks the cycle of negative thinking, pulling your mind back to the present where action is possible. Ultimately, no one can make you suffer like your own mind. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens that disturbs you, but how you think about it." Master your thoughts and you master your emotions. Master your emotions and you master your actions. Master your actions and you master your life. In a world of relentless mental noise, remember you can choose what to think and what not to. What do you overthink most? Others' remarks, a past you can't change, a vague future? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might help someone feel less alone in their journey to inner mastery. If this lesson resonates with what you're facing, like the video. Someone else might need to hear this as much as you did. Lesson 2. Speaking less is a form of strength. Have you ever been in a meeting where everyone's vying to speak, eager to prove their intelligence or influence, yet when the quietest person finally talks, the room falls silent? It's not because they spoke louder or held higher status, but because they chose silence strategically. When they spoke, those words carried weight. In Stoic philosophy, this is inner strength. Speaking less, but with depth and intention, is a form of power that can't be taken away. Epictetus advised his students, "Let your actions prove your character, not your words." Stoics understood that words are a sharp tool, but used recklessly, they're not just useless, they're counterproductive. Speak too much and you lose mystique. Constantly explaining yourself shows you're trying to prove something. Needing to prove something suggests you're not fully convinced of your own worth. In the social media era, where sharing opinions, posting, and commenting is encouraged, silence is almost a luxury. But haven't you noticed? Those who speak least often spark the most curiosity. The calm, hard-to-read ones hold sway. That's because silence at the right moment is a sign of self-discipline. And self-discipline is the most enduring form of power. Stoics don't against speaking. They stress that every word should be deliberate, weighed like an action with consequences. Marcus Aurelius, renowned for his composure, reminded himself, "Speak little. If you must, ensure your words lead to something necessary." In his time, careless words could spark wars. Even today, unfiltered speech, a rash post, a heated comment, can have real fallout. Lost opportunities, strained relationships, or self-inflicted harm. Imagine you're in a heated argument. Someone insults you, and instinct urges you to fire back with cutting words or fierce logic. A Stoic would pause. Their silence isn't weakness. It's knowing impulsive emotions can't produce wisdom. They stay quiet, observe, and speak only when their mind is clear. That silence isn't passive. It's a display of self-mastery. Reflect. How often have you regretted something you said? How many times have you thought, "I wish I hadn't said that"? How often, by oversharing, did you expose vulnerabilities better kept private? This is the lesson. Speaking less not only preserves your peace, but strengthens your presence. A Stoic strategy is to ask 3 questions before speaking. Is this necessary? Is this the right time? And does this help someone? If all 3 answers are yes, speak. If not, choose silence. It sounds simple, but practiced diligently, it transforms how you communicate with the world. In reality, the most successful and influential people often know when to speak and when to stop. Steve Jobs spoke sparingly within Apple, yet his words commanded attention. Elon Musk's brief statements can shift markets. Great leaders, strategists, statesmen, or sages grasp that true power lies in controlling speech, not in word count. In a world where everyone shouts for attention, the one who stays silent at the right moment is the most formidable. They don't need to react instantly, argue, or dominate the stage. Their presence alone is enough, with words as the tip of the iceberg. This isn't just personal power, it's a mark of a deeply disciplined mind. You can practice this in small moments. In a conversation, pause before responding to fully listen. When someone disagrees, ask questions to understand before countering. When tempted to speak just to fill silence or pass time, ask, "Does this matter?" If not, stay quiet and observe. You'll be amazed at the power of that silence. And remember, sometimes you don't need to speak to prove anything. Life isn't a courtroom. You're not a lawyer defending yourself against every glance. When you truly know yourself, you don't need to tell others. That quiet confidence is the hallmark of inner strength. By speaking less, you hear more. You notice what others miss. You see that much of what people say masks insecurity. You'll opt out of the race to speak better, choosing a different game, the game of mastery. What about you? Do you feel compelled to speak to hold your ground? Have you ever stayed silent and realized it was the right call? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might inspire someone to be calmer, deeper, and stronger through controlled speech. If this lesson resonates, hit the like button to spread it to those who need it. And if you want to continue honing your inner strength Stoic style, subscribe to catch the next videos. Lesson 3, focus is your sharpest weapon. In today's world where distraction is the norm, the ability to focus is a superpower. Success doesn't always go to the most talented, but to those who can channel their energy into a single point. Like sunlight, warming when diffused but incendiary when focused through a lens, the human mind gains strength through concentration. By mastering focus, you don't just boost productivity, you forge the inner power that Stoic sages championed. Stoics knew distraction is a silent enemy. It doesn't appear as a monster but sneaks into habits. Checking your phone every 5 minutes, juggling 10 browser tabs, saying yes to every request, only to finish nothing. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Take care not to be scattered. The mind grows strong only when kept whole, not torn into 100 pieces." Over 2,000 years ago, he warned of the very struggle we face hourly today. Focus isn't just avoiding distraction. It's a conscious choice about what deserves your life's energy. With only 24 hours in a day, you can't do everything, but you can do one vital thing deeply and well. That's the difference between the ordinary and the exceptional. Picture a swordsman. They don't swing wildly. Each strike is deliberate, blending thought, skill, and calm. Focus works the same way. When you focus, you filter, prioritize, and say no. Above all, you stay fully present in your task. Stoics taught, don't waste energy on what's beyond your control. Don't squander your mind on what isn't yours. This applies to focus. You can only direct energy toward what you control. Your thoughts, actions, and attitude. What others think, say, or what outcomes arise aren't where your mind should dwell. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, endured beatings and humiliation, yet held firm. I may lose everything, but control over my mind is mine. Focus isn't retreating from the world, it's declaring, I know what matters, and I won't let the world pull me away. Practically, honing focus means rejecting false busyness, endless to-do lists without clear purpose, pointless meetings, or phone notifications that derail you. A focused person doesn't do more. They do deeper, not multitasking, but single tasking, not scattered, but essential. A simple yet potent Stoic exercise. Each morning, write down one task that, if completed, will make your day meaningful. It doesn't have to be grand, just something that moves you closer to your life's purpose. Throughout the day, ask, is what I'm doing leading to that goal? If not, pivot. If yes, persist, slowly through difficulty, but steadily. This persistence builds unbreakable focus. The world excels at making you forget what matters, tempting you with sensational news, entertaining videos, or calls to multitask. Stay alert. You don't live to react to the world. You live to create meaning. Meaning comes only through full commitment. Geniuses like Leonardo da Vinci, Isaac Newton, or Steve Jobs shared one trait: the ability to immerse themselves in their work. Da Vinci spent weeks studying light shifts for the Last Supper. Newton forgot meals while lost in calculations. Jobs limited Apple's focus to 3 or 4 priorities. They didn't do many things. They did the essential brilliantly. You don't need genius to focus. Just commit to giving one important task your undivided time daily. No interruptions, no distractions. The results will astonish you. Your mind sharpens, decisions firm, life clarifies. Each day you edge closer to your best self. Focus is also self-respect. By focusing, you declare, I'm worth serious investment. Not everyone can do this. Most choose ease, piling on tasks to avoid confronting what truly matters, like life's purpose or fear of failure. Stoics face it head-on. Focus is how they prevail. What will you choose today? To stay scattered by the world's noise, or to turn inward and focus on what truly matters to you? Share in the comments. What distracts you most? Do you have strategies to return to center when pulled off course? Your story might inspire someone to reclaim their energy and continue their journey. If this video resonates, hit the like button. It helps the algorithm recognize valuable content. If you're on a path to becoming better each day, subscribe to catch every upcoming video. More profound Stoic lessons await you. Lesson 4. Silence sharpens your observation. In a noisy world, the one who stays silent is the most formidable, not because they're weak or lack words, but because they understand. Some truths only emerge when you stop making noise and start listening. For Stoics, silence isn't retreat, it's a state of heightened awareness. Silence isn't just not speaking, it's actively keeping your mind from impulsive reactions. In a conversation, most people jump to respond, interrupt, argue, or assert dominance. Stoics differ. They take time to observe, to grasp motives, to dissect the situation's core. They know. The quicker you speak, the likelier you err, and the more you forfeit your power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone speaks foolishly, let them keep it. You don't need to add to the noise." This simple yet profound insight cuts deep. Today, society obsesses over always having something to say. In meetings, on social media, in disputes. People speak to fill voids, prove themselves, or avoid seeming weak. But this robs them of observation and ultimately the ability to truly read the world. Silence awakens intuition, bringing clarity. By not rushing to react, you notice what others miss. Subtle expressions, shifts in tone, contradictions in behavior. You understand people, situations, and most crucially, yourself more deeply. Try this for a day. Don't voice opinions too quickly. When someone says something you disagree with, pause for 5 seconds. Just 5. Instead of replying, look into their eyes, hear their words fully, and ask, why do they think this? Is there something here I can learn? Is my ego bruised? These questions curb impulsive reactions and hone emotional intelligence, a Stoic's prized asset. Epictetus, a slave-turned philosopher, said, "Nature gave us two ears and one mouth, so listen more than you speak." This isn't a quip, it's a reminder. Silence absorbs more. Overspeaking dulls perception. If you seek a life of depth, observation is the foundation. Notice how truly powerful people are often sparing with words, not because they can't speak, but because they don't need to prove anything. They don't react to every jab or get dragged into pointless debates. They choose silence to see clearly and act only when necessary. Sharp observation fuels wise decisions. Silence also lets you hear your inner voice. Amid society's clamor, you often ignore the quiet, honest call of intuition, conscience, or core values. Only in stillness do you hear, "What do I truly want? Is this right for me? Am I living by my principles?" From there, you act not for the crowd or ego, but from a harmony of reason and heart. Stoics don't reject emotions. They refuse to let them rule. Silence before emotions speak is their method. An angry person snaps instantly. Someone fearing abandonment talks excessively. But a composed person chooses quiet to avoid being misled by feelings. Modern culture pushes the opposite. Speak your truth. Don't stay silent. Share your voice. This isn't wrong, but speaking without understanding your words isn't expression. It's chaos. Filling silence with noise to avoid discomfort is just clutter. Choosing silence to know yourself first makes your words weighty. The wise speak less because observation shapes their response. They see what others overlook. They don't let ego hijack every exchange. When they speak, people listen, not because they say more, but because they say what matters when it matters. Try this challenge. One evening this week, turn off your phone and computer, avoid texting or browsing. Sit with yourself in silence. You'll feel restless at first, but soon you'll hear your breath, your heartbeat, your uninterrupted thoughts. You'll realize who you are beneath the noise. From there, you'll live more authentically, speak less, and act with precision. Observation isn't for judging, it's for understanding. Watching with prejudice isn't listening, but silence with an open mind reveals truth. You become more compassionate, insightful, and less swayed by superficiality. Don't fear silence, make it your ally. In its quiet, you find truth. If you've had a moment of silence that deepened your understanding of someone or yourself, share it in the comments. Your story could inspire thousands seeking stillness in this chaotic world. If this lesson resonates, leave a like to support the calm, profound Stoic path. Subscribe to join us in building inner strength and purposeful living. More Stoic lessons await you. Lesson 5. Strength comes from not needing to perform. In a society where people relentlessly seek to impress through appearance, fame, wealth, or social media, true strength belongs to those who don't need to perform at all. They don't live to prove themselves, but to know themselves. This is the quiet, razor-sharp power of Stoicism. Look at those with real inner strength. They don't boast about achievements. They don't air grievances online during tough times. They don't need others' validation to affirm their worth. Instead, they're calm, focused, and in control. They understand the moment you feel compelled to perform, you're being controlled. Stoicism teaches that strength is self-mastery, commanding your responses to circumstances. This mastery erodes when your ego drives your actions. Seeking to prove yourself to others sacrifices your freedom. Letting the need to be better guide you leads to insecurity, competition, and suffering. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Don't waste energy on display. Live like a soldier in the dark, fighting without fanfare." This captures silent strength. No need for recognition or applause. Just living rightly, acting justly, and staying steady under scrutiny. Ask yourself this when tempted to perform. Am I doing this because it's right or because I want recognition? The distinction matters. Actions may look similar, but motives differ vastly. Helping someone to post about it online is worlds apart from helping quietly without telling a soul. The latter is stronger. They don't rely on external gazes. Modern culture fuels a performance addiction. Social media, achievement-driven norms, and pressure to prove success are designed to make you crave visibility, praise, and attention. But the truth is, the more you need to prove, the emptier you likely feel inside. You're filling a void with others' approval instead of building inner strength. Stoics train the opposite. They scorn showiness. Epictetus said, "If you want real progress, accept that others may think you're foolish." Why? Because rejecting society's rules, trends, loud living, or flaunting results makes you an outlier. You may seem odd, but you gain freedom, calm, and unshakable resolve. Picture walking a path. You meet two types, those waving and shouting, "Look at me, see what I'm doing," and those moving steadily, quietly with purpose. Who do you trust? The loud ones grab fleeting attention, then fade. The quiet ones leave a lasting mark, not through words, but through presence. Aim for this. Don't proclaim your abilities. Let your actions, consistency, and calm speak. True confidence doesn't announce itself. True intelligence doesn't need to boast. True strength is often silent. Psychologically, living to perform traps you in the pressure to be recognized. You fear failure not for the loss, but for what others might think. You choose actions not for their rightness, but for their impressiveness. Over time, you lose your inner compass, living as a shadow chasing others' views. Stoics don't live this way. They follow an inner moral code, inner virtue. They ask, is this just? Does it align with my values? Does it foster my growth? If yes, they act, regardless of others' opinions. Real strength is sitting in a room full of people and not needing to draw attention. You're simply yourself, calm, observant, listening, acting when necessary. Others sense this energy. Authenticity needs no PR. Resolve needs no slogans. Strength comes not from a microphone, but from potent silence. Think of a lion. It doesn't roar to prove it's king. It walks and eyes follow. Dogs bark endlessly for attention. In life, will you be the lion or the dog? Finally, by not performing, you save energy for what matters. You don't waste effort on impressing, posturing, or pandering. You channel it into real growth, honing skills, reading, mastering emotions, building your values. That's the foundation of an unshakable life. Next time you feel the urge to show the world, post for likes, or clap back to prove yourself, pause, ask, can I stay silent and let results speak? If you're strong enough, the answer is always yes. Have you ever been caught in the trap of needing to perform? Share in the comments, not to vent, but to connect. Recognizing our weaker habits together helps us rise to stronger versions of ourselves. If this lesson sparks reflection, like and share this video with someone who needs it. To keep building Stoic resilience, subscribe for more profound lessons ahead. Lesson 6. Simplicity is the foundation of strength. In an era that overvalues complexity, everything, our lifestyles, thoughts, and self-expression, has become entangled. Many believe that more intricacy, flash, or accumulation signals worth. Yet those pursuing true wisdom choose a different path, simplicity. They know that in simplicity lies authentic strength. Stoic philosophy, centuries old, underscores simplicity's vital role in life and thought. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "All you need for a happy life is simple, a calm mind, a steadfast soul, and an honest heart." This isn't shallow or lazy simplicity, but a profound one, born from discerning what's essential and shedding superficial layers. A simple person isn't deprived. They're free from the sway of the unnecessary. They resist fleeting desires and societal pressures, clearly distinguishing the real from the fake, the valuable from the flashy. From this clarity, they eliminate excess, from possessions to thoughts. Observe the greats. They lean toward minimalism. They avoid convoluted plans, pleasing everyone, or impressing society. They focus on a few vital things, pouring all their energy into them. This focus, rooted in simplicity, achieves a depth others can't touch. Simplicity isn't poverty, it's selection, prioritizing the essential and releasing the rest. Like a fine sword forged from pure iron, a strong person is tempered in simplicity and clarity. The more you shed, the sharper you become. The more you streamline, the more precise. Modern complexity often exhausts us unnoticed. Too many goals, expectations, commitments, and thoughts overwhelm us. Mornings begin with minds drowning in worries, operating like overtasked machines, finishing nothing fully. In contrast, simple livers do less but better, choosing the right tasks and seeing them through. Epictetus said, "Freedom comes not from having more, but from needing less." This challenges consumer culture. Needing less frees you from material chains. Thinking less spares you anxiety. Speaking less sharpens listening. Simplifying life lifts society's burdens. And in that lightness, you grow stronger daily. Simple livers master saying no. They don't seize every opportunity, accept every invite, or chase every desire. They filter. Does this align with my core values? If not, they decline, no matter how tempting. Simplicity is choosing less to live deeply. Simplicity's strength also lies in swift, decisive choices. Complex livers agonize over outfits, meals, or plans, trapped by too many options. Simple livers, having pruned the trivial, decide with clarity and speed, a quiet but potent strength. Simplicity fosters clear thinking. Complex minds ramble, overthink, and act on emotion. Simple minds speak concisely, act on principle, and cut to a problem's root. Stoics urge, simplify issues. Ask, what can I control here? What can I? This yields calm, precise action, not panicked overcomplication. Intriguingly, simple livers experience life more deeply. Unburdened by distraction, they savor meals fully present, listen to music with soul, and converse without glancing at phones. By not chasing countless things, they touch each moment's depth, cultivating gratitude, peace, and true happiness. Start simplifying today. No need for a life overhaul. Clear your space, discard unused items, streamline your schedule, keeping only what matters. Declutter your mind, release pointless worries, overanalysis, and unhelpful media. Take a deep breath and let go of what you can't control. Living simply makes you less vulnerable to external noise. Criticism, boasts, or judgments won't sway you. You stand like a tree, unmoved by passing winds. Simplicity makes you unshakable. Are you living too complexly? What do you cling to out of habit, not value? Share in the comments. It's a first step towards simplifying and rediscovering yourself. If this lesson clarifies what matters, like the video to spread its value. To keep living boldly, simply, and deeply in the Stoic spirit, subscribe for more lessons ahead. Lesson 7. Action is the ultimate measure. In today's world, we're surrounded by words, inspiring speeches, lengthy essays, bold social media claims. People endlessly talk about ideals, goals, visions, and values. But the harsh truth is, what you say doesn't define you. Stoicism drives home a core truth for those seeking inner strength. Actions, not words, are the ultimate measure of a person. Epictetus stressed, "Don't boast about your philosophy, let your behavior prove you're a philosopher." This isn't just a reminder, it's a direct challenge to our self-delusions. Many know much, speak eloquently, even teach others, yet falter in real life, reacting weakly, panicking, or staying passive. They know calm but snap over trifles. They know letting go but cling stubbornly. They know discipline but procrastinate daily. The gap between what you know and what you do separates those who preach from those who live virtuously. Stoics understand that philosophy only comes alive through practice, not memorization. Action bridges ideals and reality. You can dream forever, but without acting, it's just fantasy. You can plan perfectly, but without doing, it's a forgotten dream. Reality doesn't care how much you know. It reflects only what you've done. Silent action carries 10 times the weight of empty rhetoric. You can meditate for hours on calm, but choosing not to react when insulted, that's living calmly. You can read countless books on discipline, but getting up early to exercise in the rain, that's discipline proven. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't just talk about living well, live that way." He didn't need to proclaim his strength. Every decision, battle, and betrayal he faced calmly proved it. Amid war, chaos, and loss, he stayed composed. He's revered not for his words, but for living them. Many fear action because it exposes true capability. Talking maintains the illusion of greatness, strength, or readiness. Acting reveals limits, and that scares people. They fear failure, judgment, or feeling powerless. So, they hide in preparation, endless learning, or perpetual discussions. But every minute you avoid action is a minute you deny growth. Stoicism doesn't demand grand or perfect actions, just practical ones. Start small, tidy your desk, focus on one task, or tackle something long delayed. Each action, however minor, trains you. It proves you can shape reality. Every right action brings you closer to a stronger self. Action also dissolves fear. Many are trapped in their heads, imagining failure, rejection, or ridicule. But when they act, they realize it's not as bad as feared. Action pulls you from your mind into reality, where things are clearer, simpler, and more doable. You stop being a victim of thoughts. You become the master of circumstances. Crucially, action builds self-trust. You need less external validation or motivation. Through each small act, you become living proof of your capability. Each day you act rightly, you feel steadier, doubt less, and rely less on outside approval. That's true independence. A talker might inspire briefly. A doer inspires for life. Consistency between words and deeds creates unmatched weight. People may forget your words, but they'll remember your actions, how you treated them, how you lived. That's the mark of real influence. To change your life, don't start with a speech. Start with an action. Don't overthink or wait for perfection. The first step is hardest, but once taken, things ease. Action creates momentum. A small act today leads to bigger ones tomorrow. Eventually, you won't need to say anything. Your life will be the loudest proof. Are you stuck in thought, delaying action? What's one thing you know you should do, but haven't started? Share in the comments one small action you'll commit to today. That's your first step to claiming your strength. If this lesson sparks your drive to act, like the video to spread its impact, to keep growing with Stoic wisdom, subscribe and turn on notifications for the next lessons. You may have read dozens of self-help books, watched countless inspirational videos, and jotted down endless lists of changes you want to make. But the truth is, without action now, all that knowledge becomes a burden in your mind. Stoics don't care how eloquently you speak or how deeply you think. They ask one thing: How are you living? Reflect. Does your life mirror the focus, silence, discipline, and action you aspire to? Or are you still caught in pointless conversations, endless thoughts, and relentless procrastination? True strength doesn't come from what you know. It comes from living what you know, simply, quietly, and consistently every day. If you've stayed with this video to the very end, you're not ordinary. You're someone craving change. So don't wait for tomorrow. Stand up. Do something different right now. Write a goal, silence your phone, act quietly, and let results speak. If this video touched something deep within you, hit like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to keep walking this path together toward your strongest self. The journey is quiet, but never lonely.